All right, let's start out here for Sunday, August 11th for the cryptocurrency bull market watch. Today we'll take a look at ADA, EOS, Ethereum, Litecoin, Tron, and Ripple, and we'll check out all their chart patterns. It looks like Litecoin is breaking out. Now let's compare that against Bitcoin to see how much this is going to be sustained. Before we do, I'll just take a quick stop by the disclaimer. You can pause the video to read through it. This isn't trading advice, just market observation. So first of all, I am grateful for you guys who are showing up on this stream every day. Be sure to let me know where in the world you're from. If you subscribe while I'm live, you'll get the animation on the screen to celebrate. Now I just put in a chat that should be coming up on the screen here pretty soon, but sometimes the source needs to be refreshed. There we go. And I don't get it. Okay, so I see I have to do some changes to the stream there. Chat box. Chat box. Pardon me while I figure this out. What's the deal? That is not helping. Must have it misproportioned. It's not expanding it out. Oh, I'm using the wrong button. There we go. That will help if I use the right button. All right, I don't know if that's going to be size worthy here or not. Not being happy for me here for adjusting the size of this thing. I will leave it small, and I'll have to research that afterwards. I figured that was already working good. All right. Good to see a couple people joining. Let me get into the routine here now that I've messed that up. First of all, let's start off with the price of Bitcoin because that leads everything. I do think that in the 4-hour time frame, we're going to see a bigger pattern like this shaping up in Bitcoin now. I could be wrong, of course. But since we have this big pattern, it's probably going to whip back and forth inside this before it makes a decision. We're going to get more sideways action. Just because of this long-term trend line, I think it's natural that it would come back and pull back to test those levels. And that would be about the $10,000 level. So if we do come down there, we'll be watching carefully for a bottom formation. And as we're coming down here, Bitcoin dominance should be telling us something as well. Now in the short-term time frame, when we're looking at the 5-minute bars, this had some really strong rejection of these lows. There was some nice volume came in and jumped those prices right back up. And the last couple times we've seen those big rejections of those lows, prices really moved up afterwards. So I'm still expecting it to come down. I'm still expecting maybe it'll test these levels and make a little 1, 2, 3 top formation here and then break down with gusto should it come up and test those levels. And now, of course, we want to be ready for what are the altcoins going to do when Bitcoin does its move. Let's go Litecoin. Yeah, it is making some moves right now. And this is Bitcoin dominance. Looking at the 1-day view, so we're already way back from April the 1st all the way up until now, the middle of August, that we've been having our alts crushed. All April, all May, June, July. So 4.5 months of patience waiting for these alts to do something, watching this Bitcoin dominance. And now that it's pulled back one tick, it's encouraging, especially since the alts are bottoming, but it was really encouraging here, and it was encouraging here, and it was encouraging here. So until it makes that top formation and we have our alts making their bottom formations and breaking out and confirming, I'm going to be a little skeptical yet. And so at the end of the episode, we'll go into the Patron Bull Market Watch spreadsheet and we'll look at what the rest of the alts are doing. Hey, Anthony, nice to see the chicken. Where in the world are you guys from? Let me know. I'm working to get more of an international audience than just US, and I'm working to get more Canadians as well. Got a strong US setup right now. Now let's start off with the routine. The last few days, we were watching as the RSI was diverging really strongly and saying that's like a huge bullish thing, but you never know when it's going to go and how far it's going to go. So every one of these pops were people expecting it because the RSI is diverging so strongly. But I'm waiting for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So it has to give me 3 points for that. It has to fail a retest. And let's zoom in on this just time-wise to see, would this qualify as a 1, 2, 3? It would. It would qualify as a 1, 2, 3. You could stretch it and say this is a 1, 2, 3, but that's a little too much. But this is a 1, 2. It'll prove itself to be a 1, 2, 3 if it breaks above these levels. And that is confirmation of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout. Often we'll see it spike and then pull back a lot and maybe even retest these levels before really going higher. So that's what our filters are to go over here, so that we can see that on the 1 hour time frame, we had the exponential moving average crossover. It was a small 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. If I zoom in to the closer time frame, then you can see 1, 2, you can call that a 3, and it broke higher. So that would qualify as a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The RSI was supporting it. The trend line broke on and the exponential moving average crossed over, so they all work. But I find that there's so much whipsaw when you're trying to get in and out on the 1 hour time frame or shorter that I try to step back from that. I figured that is where whale food normally swims, and the whales come by and scoop you up if you are swimming in this whole area right here. So I want to have a smaller position out of these bottoms and build on it, because we know that this goes in long-term trends. If we go out to a little bit longer, we don't get much data on this chart, but it really trends. Now, the RSI is looking strong. I would, again, if it continues to break higher, I don't like the setup so much yet. So it seems a little early for me that it hasn't come back and retested those levels on ADA. And yesterday, ADA was looking pretty good. ADA and EOS were the two favorites yesterday. They had already moved up and they were looking good, but now they've pulled back that little bit. So we see this is on pretty good selling too. Looking at, what does that? The 1 hour time frame. Zoom into the 15-minute time frame. Now we can see Bitcoin in the background. So as Bitcoin is making its decision, this chart will make its decision as well. So maybe Bitcoin starts to break lower, this will break higher. And as it crosses these lines, it is a trading signal to start off with a small part of your position. Let's go on to MACD indicator. Did a nice crossover here on the 4 hour time frame. We were looking at this yesterday, saying that this flare was really good. And I think prices have moved up since the video yesterday, maybe in here. But they've given us time to go sideways and to verify this. Now, if I'm going into a closer time frame, let's see, seems to be easing off. The histograms are easing off. So if I zoom into the 1 hour time frame, there it is. It's across to the negative, but again, the histogram is going more positive here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in a row. So that's strong. That's looking good. If this crosses positive while we're going up, that's confirmation, even if Bitcoin prices are going up, which will be pretty cool. How about the Ichimoku Cloud for these? All of them said on the 4 hour time frame yesterday that there was nothing to do. Here on the 4 hour time frame, we've got a crossover of the conversion line over the baseline. That's bullish. We haven't had it completed yet. This trailing indicator needs to cross through both the blue and the red. This needs to twist to the green. I still want this to come back and retest these levels before going higher. So if it breaks above this one, it is a buy signal, and that is the pullback. That's all we got for the pullback, and it's very bullish if it does that. And I'm going to be super small in my position here if it does break above, anticipating it's going to come back and retest that for me to put on the next stage of the position. That's the 4 hour time frame. So the 1 hour time frame, we saw this yesterday where it had already crossed through, and now the conversion line is coming back near the baseline. So that can't happen. If it crosses over the baseline, that's more bearish. Let me check the chat and see what's going on. Okay. Now, before I go on too much, if you guys are new to this stream, and we're picking up an audience now, it's starting to grow, because I'm doing regular, the same coins over and over and over every day, following along with these same indicators for all of the coins. So we get a real clear, stable view of the coins. Now we're looking at EOS. So I put up our Discord chat there. If you guys want to come and join us, we'd be delighted to have you. We do the live stream daily, but we're chatting about the markets all the time. So again, all of these markets really gave us a good, strong RSI divergence. And then they've taken off. But it'll give me the same prognosis right now. As I start to zoom in on this, I like that it's made these moves up and that it's pulled back a little bit. The RSI is eased off. That's okay. But I do want it to establish something more. So if this was a 1, 2, 3 kind of bottom formation breakout there, I would expect prices to come back and retest that. So I'm still watching for it, and I don't know. We got a bit of an RSI divergence here, maybe. Maybe that'll set us up for it. That's the 1 hour RSI. Let's go on now to the next indicator for EOS and do the 4 hour view. So we got on balance buying volume, which supports that it is starting to establish a bottom. Good to see the buying pattern here that didn't go negative like we saw in ADA. So now EOS is number 1. ADA is slipped back a bit because it doesn't have the volume coming in at this point. And again, if this breaks higher than this level, it's a buy signal. It is a 1, 2, 3. I would like to wait for the 4 hour exponential moving average to cross over. So it would be favorable. Pardon me. It would be favorable for this to come back and build us up, because it would give that time for that exponential moving average to cross over as well. So if Bitcoin were to come up and retest these levels and then break, that would give us the perfect setup. That would give us the perfect setup for these alts right now. EOS, MACD on the 4 hour time frame, it crossed positive. Nice positive all the way along here. Good. Wow, it looks good. It's crossed over negative here, so the histogram's going to have to cross positive on the short time frame for this to turn around. And there it is. It's starting to cross positive on the short time frame, but that'll have to play itself out for this to prove itself as we're going along. And the Ichimoku Cloud for EOS on the 4 hour time frame, again, it's crossed over the conversion line over the baseline. It's almost the exact same position as ADA, where the trailing indicator hasn't crossed through both lines yet. We don't have a twist to the positive on the 4 hour time frame. On the 1 hour time frame, we saw that it was through the cloud yesterday. Now that this is gone, this is indicating sideways action, not upwards from here for EOS. The thicker cloud means sideways action, and that's good. I want sideways action. I want it to come back and retest these levels before going up. So let's see what turns up the next couple days for EOS and ADA. I'm looking for both the same thing for both those charts right now. Now, Ethereum is a bit different. It was more of a sort of staying behind the other ones. I was going to say it's more of a loser than the other coins because it was still going down more, wasn't giving us a nice bottom. But now this is looking better actually than ADA and EOS for moving out from here. We've got a crossover of the 1 hour time frame. It's giving us the retest here. Should the RSI go higher as we're breaking out, that would be a buy signal for Ethereum. Let's go on to the next indicator for Ethereum on the 4 hour time frame. Selling and a little bit of buying. This is where it was like losing worse compared to the others, is that it had a lot more selling and the others were already showing buying, and this wasn't yet, but it is now. So maybe ADA and EOS are going to pull back because they showed more strength the last few days, and Ethereum is going to be breaking out above these levels right now. This is what it's appearing to be. Let's go to Ethereum and look at the 4 hour time frame with the MACD. This was a good cross and a cross to the positive yesterday. So it was a nice divergence that we could see setting up. And then the positive crossover and another positive crossover were really good. And now to see this flaring wider and the histogram holding solid while we're making this potential breakout is looking pretty good for this very moment. And there it is, as we're taking off this very moment. The one thing that I don't like is that this exponential moving average has crossed over. So if I click and expand, I don't like that it's crossed over here, but I'm less bad, or I'm more okay with it because the histogram isn't increasing negative, where it's given us a little bit of a positive and we have a kink in this so that it's not going to continue, it seems. Let's clear that. Very nice. Yeah, and right now, even as I changed back screens, it's looking more positive as this is taking out, as we're going. And so we can see the confirmation of the Ethereum trading signal occurring right now as we're going through. We see the 1, 2, 3 formation. So this is how you would be watching this yourself to determine if these are a signal for yourself. Is watch for the 1, 2, 3 formation and watch for these divergences. And as it's taking off, you could start with a small bit of your trade, knowing that we've had this kind of thing with the Bitcoin dominance. Let me go back to the 6-month view. We've had this thing with the Bitcoin dominance changing and pulling back, and then the alts went down again. Went down again. So that it's pulled back is good. It's a start, but it's not definitive yet until those alts give us the full turn. Let's go now to Ethereum on the Ichimoku Cloud 4-hour time frame. This isn't looking as positive as the other two were. They're further along because they had crossed over, and that the trailing indicator was closer to crossing over the blue and the red. So on the 4-hour time frame, we still have time to wait for Ethereum to set up properly. On the 1-hour time frame, it's actually breaking out as we're talking. So it's all of the Ichimoku Cloud buy signals confirming. We've got the cross here, we've got the cut, we've got it poking through the cloud here, we've got the twist of the positive, we have the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout. We could put on 20% of our total trade here, maybe 10% of our total trade, and start out there. Let me clear this off. And our next coin to go through is Litecoin, which I'm betting as soon as I change this scene, we're going to see that Litecoin is outperforming Ethereum right now. Well, that's the 12-hour view. Here's the 4-hour view. So our 1, 2, 3 bottom on the 4-hour time frame has not yet manifested. And so if you're trading that, this is really good, but there's no need to take any action on it right now. So if you have any coins that you'd like me to take a look at when I'm done the big 6, I will go through those and we can take whatever time we need on those. If you're looking for this trading plan, be sure to go over to IntroToCryptos.ca and sign up for free on the home page. You can put your email in there and I'll send you the free chapter from my book. It is the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation trading strategy. So you get that written plan and you can follow along with this. Now, as this was coming down, the RSI was diverging nicely. We're on the 1-hour time frame. Let me go to the 4-hour time frame. Nice divergence in the RSI. Nice takeoff as prices are going. I would like this to pull back as well and stage, but it already made a much more clear 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, and this was published as an unofficial alert for our alert subscribers. And it turned out to be a very good trade. But this kind of trade is an unofficial alert because it is such a short time frame that I don't really recommend this unless you are sitting at the computer and you're able to babysit this trade at the very beginning. So as soon as it takes off and you're positive, as I did, you put your stop loss up above it, and now you wait for the market to do its job, and it's doing it fantastically. There could have been another buy signal right in here as it's breaking above these levels, right above in here as it's breaking above these levels and making this formation, making this formation. There was a couple other points of strength that could have been buy signals if you were not able to take an earlier signal. But for now that it's breaking where it is, it's beyond a buy signal, and it's kind of, oh darn, I missed it. I got to wait for it to go through. So you're not jumping on a moving train. I actually did put my hand out and grabbed onto a moving train. I used to work on flat cars, loading trains, and they were changing out the flat cars, and I left some equipment up top, and I thought, oh, I better grab that quickly before they take these cars away. And as the train started to move, I grabbed a hold of it, and it felt like it almost yanked my arm off. So I try not to get onto moving trains anymore, because it wasn't moving fast, but the momentum is so strong that you really want to get onto it before it's getting momentum moving, because that's when you're going to get whipsawed coming into something after it's broken. It could keep going, but for my own part, I have to step back now until it consolidates more and gives me another place to step in. Let's go and look at Litecoin on the on-balance volume. Okay, this was a poo-hoo coin the last few days too, because it was just so much selling. There was no indication in that chart that there was going to be a turnaround, right? We had this one little spike here, but there was not even back here did we get a good enough swath of buying, but now we do. Now we have it setting up here. Just this last little bit. What's this 1 hour time frame? Let's zoom in and zoom into the 15-minute time frame, and it's coming in stages too. Big buying, big buying. This isn't just crowds. This is institutional individuals. This is big buyers taking swaths of this coin right now. That's pretty bullish. So should it come back and consolidate again, we'll be watching every day to see what these indicators do. Where is this going to go? When does it pull back? We'll be watching these indicators unfold as it goes. It could be taking right off right from here. Ethereum gave us the buy signal as we were watching. Zoom in on this. Why is it giving me trouble here? There we go. Yeah, it actually does look like these candles are building for another surge up from here. There's a nice buying, and these candles look good. With Bitcoin in the background showing strength, though, it gives me a little hesitation. I think we'll have to see how that plays out. Let's go into Litecoin on the MACD. So on the 4 hour time frame, it had already crossed over days ago. We could have bought into it on that crossover right there because we had the RSI diverging so strongly, but the on-balance volume wasn't showing that we were going to turn around. Now it's doing okay. So we did get these crossovers where we have a downtrend and we had this pretty much flat. So this is really an important indicator now that I'm going to combine with the trending channel, and not just with the 1, 2, 3 bottom on the 4 hour time frame, but according to the channel, because we did have a 1, 2, 3 bottom that broke out of the channel on the 1 hour time frame. As it did it yesterday, I put out the alert for it in our Discord chat for the alert subscribers, and here we are. We're up 10% on that. I took a trade on this myself as well, and I'm long in Litecoin right now, so I'm very happy to be just sitting back, got my stop loss above my entry, and now it's not my job anymore. Now I sit back and let the market do this part. Let's go on to Litecoin, Ichimoku Cloud, comparing the 4 hour compared to the others. So we do have a crossover. It's a little bit more mature, like EOS and ADA, ahead of Ethereum, and we can see just by the price range that it's ahead of Ethereum. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame. So this already crossed. It's all doing good. It's a thick cloud though, so that doesn't tell me that it's going to be going up fast. The thinner the cloud, the faster it's going up. But the fact that these are so wide apart, and that the blue and the red line are still wide apart and not getting closer together, is supporting stronger prices. Probably, let's see, if I'm projecting, we would stop and consolidate here maybe, or stop and pull back from here depending on what Bitcoin is doing. Just because of the support and resistance levels from the past here, it might get up into these levels before we get a stop and a retest there. Nice, nice, nice. Very good. Thank you very much, Litecoin. I appreciate that. TRX. Let's go into the 4 hour view. Okay, this has been a poo-hoo coin for a bit now, but right now it's a buy signal. I don't have to look any further. We can see that the RSI is diverging nicely here from the price. We have, clear that off, a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up right now. We have the break of our downtrend line. Let me change tools. And so all of those things put together gives this a potential for taking a risk, putting on a small part of your trade to begin with, knowing that we're going to add on to it after it consolidates on this uptrend. If we are in the right place, that's the right thing to do. If this is going to be choppy sideways market, it may not be, my trading method won't make as much in a choppy sideways market. It's definitely designed for holding and building on a trend. And I am anticipating this for 12 to 18 months out of these cryptocurrencies until December 2020. So here again, zooming in, the RSI is confirming that this is a breakout right here, setting up to be a breakout on the 1 hour time frame. We've already got our exponential moving average crossover. Good to see already. So TRX, from being poo-hoo all this time, now turns into my favorite for today. The 4 hour time frame started selling there. Dean H, good to have you along. Glad to have caught the live stream. Yes, do you finally believe the alt season is upon us? Oh, yo, yo. Last August the 1st, I put out a video saying, be ready. And then in September, I started the bull market watch spreadsheet because I wanted to measure that bull market coming. Through October, as it was building up, it looked so fantastic, and then things started to slide off. And then November 15th, Bitcoin dove hard and swept all the alts with it. And after that, Bitcoin went up and crushed all the alts more. So it's been a year of waiting for the alts. A year and a half, of course, but a year of actively watching for this bottom formation. So now to see it playing out, it is very exciting. And for me, it's the time to be playing with leverage trading. Do I feel like I'm behind and I want to make up on all of the altcoin losses? Probably. Yeah, that might be part of it. Anyway, look at the on-balance volume setting up here on this section. So that is good support that this has found a bottom. There could be our capitulation low. We could see that bounce up. And remember the capitulation pattern. It is a parabolic move down, a blast up, a pullback, and a consolidation. There's our buy signal right there. That's the real main buy signal on the 4 hour, maybe a little bit longer time frame. And it should take 2 weeks for this to set up. It should take a week and a half for this to set up to cross on the 4 hour time frame properly. So we'll see how this is setting up now. Let me clear that. And these charts are too short time frame because I'm over on BitMEX. And these are the futures contracts, which they don't have a lot of history to them. They just tag on to what the other markets are doing. Where are we now? 4 hour time frame. Zoom in on this. 1 hour time frame shows good volume. This doesn't show as much as I want. That's a lot of selling, and it's not giving me the buying right here. Should that buying come in as the prices are breaking above that, that's confirmation. We've got confirmation in the other indicators, but I'd want to see that at the same time as the breakout is happening. TRX on the 1 month view, looking at the MACD indicator, this was not giving us much of anything over this downtrend until now. It starts to really stand out, actually, because we have these crossovers at the end. Look at how this divergence was laying out all the way along here. The 21st of July, from the middle, well, pretty much all of July, from the very beginning, this last 6 weeks, this divergence has been setting up. So it's probably going to do something strong. We can see the cross to the positive, another cross to the positive, a really good divergence right here as we're starting to set up this bottom formation. And remember, for me, the 4 hour MACD crossover is predictive of the 1 to 3 bottom formation better than anything else that I've come across so far. And here we are seeing it crossing at the same time that we have the number 1 point, the 1, 2, 3 formation. And we've seen this over and over again. So I like that. Let's zoom into the 1 hour time frame. That's not quite as positive, but when this crosses over and we see that, and we also see the volume coming in, all of them are pointing to time to check it out. I like it. Let's go into TRX in the 4 hour time frame. So it is making the 1, 2, 3 bottom. We have got a crossover of the blue over the red, but the green hasn't cut through. We haven't had a twist to the positive. So on the 4 hour time frame, we got time. We can wait. On the 1 hour time frame, it's already given the buy signal. And it's right in the, well, actually, it's kind of doubting that buy signal. Look at the blue. It's crossed back below the red right here. So we have to wait for that to cross back positive. Should that be happening while we have the volume coming in and the MACD crossing over on the 1 hour time frame, as we're crossing above this, now we have everything all lining up. So it's fantastic to see that we have a couple of these markets that are really shaping up. Really nice. And as we'll see in a minute, this is going on with many, many altcoins right now. Ripple, I'm not as keen and favored of because of the supply of Ripple, and I don't know. But it is making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. The RSI is diverging from it. It's breaking out of a downtrend line, a parallel channel. I just have to trade it. It doesn't matter if I believe it or not. I've learned this by believing in some great projects that I kept holding against my trading plan and lost tons of money. So now as I zoom in on this, and whether it's I believe in it or not, when it's making the formation, I take the action my trading plan tells me to do. And I had to learn that lesson by spending or losing thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breaking out, really looking great. 1 hour time frame for Ripple. Ripple's looking pretty good. I'm not much of a Ripple aficionado, but it's okay because on the 4 hour time frame we see some positive on balance volume, but we weren't seeing on Litecoin, I think. And then we see here on the 1 hour time frame it's switched and all of these, I neglect to mention, all of them were switching before Bitcoin dropped. They were all preparing ahead of time. Now, what's going on with Bitcoin? As they're making these bottom formations, a break above here should be making Bitcoin or indicate that Bitcoin's going to be coming down more. Maybe these are going to break before Bitcoin. 1 hour time frame. Let's go on to the MACD indicator for Ripple. On the 4 hour time frame, we've got a cross to that's the 12 hour time frame. So we do have the divergence here. It didn't play out as nicely as we saw in TRX, for example. The divergence didn't come in until the very last bit here. But then it's crossed positive on the 4 hour at the same time as this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation shaping up here. Very nice. Zoom into the 1 hour time frame. Okay, this is, I was going to say not so good, but this has crossed negative and is preparing to cross positive. So long as the crosses positive are higher each time, that's bullish. It can come back and then cross and go up. It can go up a lot more than this. So bullish on this one all the way through, it seems. Ripple on the 4 hour time frame. How does this compare? Still looking negative. We got a cross of the blue over the red. We don't have the green cutting through both. So still time to wait for this to set up. Really, we don't have to get in at the very bottom. We can wait for it to switch trends properly. But on the 1 hour time frame, we already have a buy signal. And so strength above these levels would be a buy signal. I'd be kind of nervous about it because of these exhaustion wicks right here. I used to see those as pre-pump patterns. And then we would have the pissing off the roof pattern right after this. And I thought, okay, those are exhaustion candles, not pre-pump candles. It's excitement of people who are wrong, buying it up, hoping it's going to be breaking out there. But the market isn't ready for it yet, so it keeps going back down. Here's another exhaustion candle here. And at the top of 1, 2, 3 bottom formations, when you see them coming up to exhaustion candles, it's probably going to be a failed 1, 2, 3 top, and get ready to go short off this pissing off the roof formation. And I use that pissing off the roof formation without license from the Crypto Sniper. So I've got to always give him credit for what an awesome name of a chart pattern that is. Especially because I trade the 1, 2, 3 bottom formations and watch for the fake out breakout of the 1, 2, 3 bottoms, so that I'm checking out all of these indicators to verify, is this a real 1, 2, 3 bottom or a fake one? When it's a fake one, the pissing off the roof formation pattern follows more often than not, and the trend continues, right? We're in a downtrend. This is a consolidation, not a bottom formation. And recognizing when it fails is a key part of making money instead of losing it. Now, let's go check out Bitcoin dominance and zoom in on this. Good to see. This is good for the alts. Pardon me, I left my mic off. So I don't know how long that was off. But let me start here again just to point out how the number of failing markets is going down here on Poloniex. We had 43 failing markets at brand new lows, lowest they've been, coming down to new number 1 points. Now they've moved up to a near fail. So they've created that number 1 point and pulled up a little bit. 10 of them have moved over to neutral status so that they are far enough above the bottom that they are not nearly failing to new lows. They've got some support there, but they're not far enough along in their bottom formations to give us an alert. An alert means it's almost breaking out of that bottom formation and taking off. So that gives us a prior warning, an advanced warning of a buy signal coming up. We can see it coming. No, not yet. It's getting closer, getting close. Almost here, boom, we're holding it. So now let's go into Binance and see what's going on there. We were at 127 failed markets on the 6th of August. Now on the 11th, we can see we're down to 4 markets that are down to failing to new lows. 92 are now near fails, so they've all these 100 here have moved right up. That means they've hit a bottom and they've come up off that far enough that it's not making new lows, but it's so close that it could fail to new lows anytime. So it's nearly failing. But the great thing is to see how many have moved over to neutral, because these have enough of a bottom established underneath that number 1 point that we're now watching for it to complete the 1, 2, 3 pattern or get close to completing it so that we can make it an alert. As it gets close, it'll be marked as an alert in our spreadsheet. And as they cross that 1, 2, 3 bottom, we'll mark them as a hold in our spreadsheet. Blue happens after we go over the 1, 2, 3 top formation and the exponential moving average crosses on the 4-hour time frame. That's when we get a blue cold fish and we exit at least half of our position there. The other half of the position must be exited when we cross the 12-hour exponential moving average. So that'll keep us out, and it worked phenomenally back from December to April. Fantastic. Let's go take a look at these charts. So we can see this visually now. The number of failing markets here in Poloniex was 43, and now it's down to 5. We had 7 near fails, then we were up to 29, and now we're up to 37 near fails. But this is the main one. As we're going from 3 to 4 to 10 neutral markets, as we're going from, in Binance here, 8 up to 17, back to 12, up to 17, now boom. 57. There's 40 new markets went to neutral overnight. So over the next few days, we should be seeing these turning into alerts. The yellow line will start to pick up. And when that happens, this red line will drop down considerably and the green line will start to pick up. The green line and the red line here don't measure the neutral coins, only the bearish and the bullish coins. So it gives us there's a space in the middle where nothing's happening. They're in neutral. Awesome. Now, what I'll do is go and look at any of the alts that you want me to take a look at. I'll go over to Binance, filter by BTC, get rid of my favorites, and we'll start off with the 12-hour view on any of the markets that we're looking at. So we get a perspective of their history, maybe even the 1 year, and for some of them, the weekly view. I'll always start with the long-term perspective to see, is this a bottom? It could be. But in the weekly, we just have a reversal wick setting up here. Not indicative of a turnaround completely. Now when we come into this, it is a bounce, but not a turnaround on the daily. Right? It's only been moved up 2 different candles in the daily. That's not a trend. As soon as we go into the 3-month view, we can start to see a few more candles and some good strength there. Good bounce off that RSI, actually. That's a pretty good thing to be watching. How oversold that was. on the 12-hour time frame. Never did we get that oversold on the 12-hour time frame except the very first start of the coin. So that is a solid bottom right there. That's wicked. Solid bottom. And this divergence we were watching the other day, that would be a breakout. This would be the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout on a cross above that. We've got nice support from the RSI. Beautiful. Let me go back to the chat now and see what is up for coin requests. Let me go back. We got Litecoin, we did, Dash, Neo, and XLM. So let me quickly. Dash made some big moves. A, B, C, D. Dash. It's making some big moves. Very nice. And while it didn't give me the classic 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, this is more the capitulation pattern shaping up where it should, if we're getting that capitulation low, it should blast and then pull back and consolidate. And that would, those levels even would be fantastic. So I don't want to jump in and have it crash against me quickly, but it is making a 1, 2, 3 formation. Let me clear that off, zoom in. It's definitely making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation right here. And so if you were to be putting on a position here, it's already made some pretty significant moves. Don't put on your full position if you're just starting out. Always start off with a part of your position, because we know that if it is going to trend, and the alts are crazy for trending, I don't get it really, but once they get into a trend, man, they just keep going and going and going and going. Once that trend is broken, poof, it's into another trend, and off it goes into this straight parallel channel section again. So when it does this parallel channel section, we're going to find places that it consolidates that we're going to be able to take a position on. Let it go, watch it, and then wait for that pullback. Let me go into 3-month view. RSI is good. A double bottom here and really blast it off. Not a formation I can trade though. It didn't give me a nice enough 1, 2, 3 bottom formation yet. There's still time. Yeah, in fact, for the longer term trading pattern, it hasn't even broke the downtrend line yet. So there's no reason to be taking action now except to jump in to be whale food, because they'll be slapping this around up and down, up and down. Always start off small on this, and then when you can get your stop loss above your entry, do it. Let's go to Binance, filter by BTC, get rid of my favorites, and scroll down to Dash so that we can see the volume coming in on this. Very positive volume. And there's a big swath here and more volume, but not really as strong. So this comes into it now, starts looking like a double top to me, and I want to zoom in more. It doesn't look like a double top. The way this is expanding and accelerating. This point, a break above that is really good. And we'll see that with volume coming in. So I like what Dash is doing this very minute. Let's go to BTC, Binance, Dash. Another one that has a great divergence setting up here. Look at that downtrend. Look at this divergence, higher lows all the way along. It's telling us, it's speaking to us right there. And a swing trader might be able to take that. But for my own part, I'm still hamstrung on that because I'm waiting for that 1, 2, 3 formation. Until now, then I can start off my position. 4 hour, let's go in and zoom in again to the 15-minute time frame. So we're crossing positive. This is not as bullish though. So as it's coming to a double top, and I'm a little skeptical about jumping on something that's made such a fast move, I want the opportunity to catch a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that builds up into something like this. This kind of went beyond it before taking off. If it had pulled back like this, then it would have been a more clear trading signal for me. Those small differences, just because that's what I'm watching for. So now when this is setting up, I'm leery about that. It would be a small position for sure. That's a pretty good detailed look at Dash. Now let's look at NEO and XLM. NEO. There we are. NEO on the 12-hour time frame. Down, down, down. It hasn't made a bottom strong enough for me to think it's going to be turning around. But look at this. Channel, trend, 1, 2, 3, top, or a top formation and a break, exponential moving average crossover, time to get out. So we've got to wait for it to build a bottom for this coin. It's got to do something. It might take a little bit of time. I don't know. Let's zoom into a different time. That is the 4-hour time frame. Looking good. Zooming in on this, it's a buy signal. Can't deny it. I would have to try it. Right there. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It's not as deep of a retest as I would like, but the exponential moving average has crossed over. It has broken the downtrend line. So on this time frame, it's a buy signal when it takes off over that. And we see the RSI is supporting it. So if we go now to NEO and this indicator, surprise, not seeing on balance volume buying on the 4-hour time frame. We can see it nicely on the 1-hour time frame, but it's not showing up yet on the 4-hour. So this is a buy signal that we're watching unfold right here. As always, there are two places to buy into on a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout. You can buy on the breakout. It may just take right off and you're in the best spot. You can wait for it to come back and retest these levels and then show strength so that you know it's not coming back and retesting these levels and going down further. On the breakout of the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, we're always watching for that to happen. On the breakout of these formations here, we're always watching for that to happen. As soon as it's breaking out, we're putting on a position. We're always watching for that to pull back. These 1, 2, 3s breakouts are not always successful. In fact, I'd say 6 out of 10 times they fail. Maybe 7 out of 10 times they fail. So start off small, add on when you're correct, and you'll be okay. Let's go to NEO in the next indicator. MNEO. 4-hour view. We do have a positive crossover. This is lining up. On the 1-hour view, hey, this is the same as the other coins where we had the positive cross, then we had the negative cross, and it's coming up close again. But as I zoom in on this to see what it's telling us specifically, well, yeah, okay, it's doing the same. The histograms are easing off each one. I thought the last one was a little stronger than the second last, but not showing it. We've got to have this green line come closer and closer to the red for that to stand as a breakout. XLM. Let's go over to this chart and scroll down to XLM. Stellar Lumens. Had a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation at the same time as Litecoin did. Very small time frame. It's a definite clear breakout. The exponential moving average crossed over. So this 1-hour time frame lit us up. And you could put your stop loss above your entry now and hold it. Would I buy it now? It would be sort of throwing the dice now to be buying it. I really want to wait until it's coming out of a consolidation, not having been moved out of a consolidation and looking strong. Maybe, but I don't like the RSI, the way this has been easing off while the prices are going higher. And I also want to wait. That's my own trading. So I guess it's all I can ever talk about is how I would do it. Where's the chat? All right, okay. And we had the divergence as this was coming across. So all of these coins, everything that we're looking at, everywhere I go, had this massive divergence in the RSI as prices were coming down this last while. So I do think that we are setting up for the bottom. It's just too many coins doing the same thing coincidentally. So now for my own part, I want this to finish the bottom formation. Give me that consolidation and give me a place to jump in. Once you make it clear like that, then I've got a very nice small risk to reward ratio, and I know where my levels are to be adding on to this afterwards. So a small bit of that trade, but I couldn't FOMO into it right now as it's taking off. I'd have to wait for something now. It's too sharp of a bottom for most of my trading signals on this time frame. And we'll see how it plays out. I love it. I'm glad you brought this one up. XLM on this indicator is showing right at the very same time. Again, look at this. Just before Bitcoin broke, this made its 1, 2, 3 and it broke out. That's what made it break out then. As that Bitcoin dropped, this started to go. So that makes me think that Bitcoin in the background isn't going to hold, or Bitcoin is going to come up and retest these levels. That would be perfect for forcing the alts back down to create their bottom formation at the same time. So that's what I would like to see. That would set us up. We're going to go on to XLM for the MACD indicator. And it is crossed positive. So eat my words. Buy on it on that strength right now, but I'm going to sit back and wait. But that crossover there is bullish, that's for sure. Go back to the 4-hour time frame here. It crossed bullish earlier. Here again, as this Bitcoin top formation is setting up, we're having these major divergences in all of the main altcoins, major divergences, and then bam, off they go. So I think Bitcoin is coming back. The more I watch these, the more I'm looking at these, the more it gives me that feel. So I appreciate you guys showing up for the live stream. If there's something you want to request, put it into the chat and I'll be happy to look at it. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button. Get the word out about this channel. If you find it's useful and you want to come back every day, hit the subscribe button. You'll be featured on the live stream. What was the verdict on Litecoin? Let's go back to Litecoin. And the fastest, well, I'll just scroll. Litecoin, LTC. Litecoin, it was a buy as we were talking. So it was doing this breakout a few minutes ago. As we were doing the stream, as I started the stream, this was doing the breakout. And I'm long. I have my stop loss above my Litecoin long, and I'll just hang out now and wait to see what goes on with this. But all the other alts are giving me that feeling that this is going up from here. This was a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom. And again, this was an alert that I gave out in our Discord chat to the alert subscribers. So if you are interested in trading that stuff, head over to the website, IntroToCryptos.ca, and check out the options there. So you really going to read over my comment? Are you really going to read over my comment? Did I pass your comment? Yes, I did. ICX and OMG decreed. Sorry about that, Annes. And Annis, I'm glad you mentioned it, because I do want to look at ICX and OMG. I'm disappointed in OMG. 3-month view. Okay, this is showing lower lows and higher lows crossing positive on the 12-hour MACD indicator. That's positive. Now as I zoom in, then I see that positive sentiment, and I see it here again too, where we're having these bottoms. Look at these lower bottoms here, and we had this crossover. So that was giving us forewarning of this little run. Now we have it holding on to these bottoms as we're coming down here. As we've seen in the other coins, many of the other coins are doing this very same thing at the same time Bitcoin is topping. I think Bitcoin's coming down. And now that this is flared out on the 4-hour time frame, for me, this is still an alert to get ready and not an actual trade signal. When I move into the 1-hour time frame, it's the only time that it gives me an actual trade signal yet. And here we see these confirming, where we've got a divergence in the MACD from the price. And that's a positive bullish divergence. But you never know which one of these crosses is going to be the one, right? Now it's taken off, and that's good. So it's giving me the beginning of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation on the 4-hour time frame. So if I go back to the 4-hour time frame, we are breaking the downtrend line. Done. Check. That's one part of the trading plan. Second part is that it has to break the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. So it's starting to build it, but it hasn't given me the number 3 point to show that it's retesting the lows. Then the third thing that has to happen for this trading plan to give a signal on the 4-hour time frame is that the exponential moving averages cross over this way, so that the short-term one is above the long-term one at the same time that we're breaking out of the 1, 2, 3 bottom. All those three things put together is a buy signal, and you can just sit back and give the market some room. We'll talk about that as it unfolds over these next few weeks. So that's OMG. Let me go to the OMG the OMG RSI. Sound like a government worker with all their acronyms. So here we're looking at more confirmation, right? The downtrend and the stable bottom in the RSI. So this bottom is solid. What we're seeing here is more solid as what we saw here. How solid was that? Not solid enough. So we have to wait and see. And this took a while for it to make a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. Very nice. It stayed above the number 2, and then it started to come back. So our exponential moving average crossover on the 4-hour time frame after a 1, 2, 3 top formation, no matter how bullish I am, I have to take action on that. I've had it burn me so many times by saying, oh, it's just a little pullback. And it's not little. It just keeps going. So this crossover is huge on this time frame. And the 12-hour crossover is even more powerful for me. When that 12-hour crossover comes, look how far back this was. It's time to take action. There's something happening here. There's a trend happening. It's made this major top formation after an attempted 1, 2, 3 bottom. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Oh, looking so good. Oh, wonderful. Get my stop loss just above my entry. I'm out. It crossed over and down it went on this. Instead of being the nice 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout, it's a 1, 2, 3 fake out with the pissing off the roof formation following. So we're going to be wary of that potential that we saw manifest here. We're going to be wary of it coming to us again. Let's zoom in on OMG for the RSI. And it's looking good. Looking good, but again, it's overbought, pretty good overbought here, that I would like to see it come back, both the RSI and the price. Then give us that breakout and retest. All of these coins are all setting up for the same thing. It's just phenomenal. And let's look at ICX. ABCD. ICX. 1, 2, 3 bottom formations setting up on the 1-hour time frame. I like this, especially since we have this consolidation here that it broke through. Now it's made a tiny little 1, 2, 3 and a larger 1, 2, 3, and a break above these levels. It's probably going to go higher, like above this, right out of that. And should it come back here and consolidate, this would be an add-on signal in the uptrend. And we'll probably see something like that over the weeks as the Ichimoku Cloud is giving us buy signals in the uptrend as prices are coming back and touching the cloud, and then the conversion line goes positive over the baseline again. It's a buy signal in an uptrend, and the Ichimoku Cloud is good for showing us that. Let me see now. Make sure I didn't miss anyone else. Look at ICX and OMG. Decreed was such a killer. When it got listed on Binance, it blasted off. Let's go into the 1-year view so we can look way back. Well, this is Binance. And when it got listed, it took right off and then pulled back. So you can't even see it on this chart because we'd have to go over to Poloniex. Decreed. Can't be that far. 1-year view. Here's the listing on Binance. 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. It got listed. That was a huge move. Yep, that's when it was. And then, without me telling you, pissing off the roof. Potential 1, 2, 3. Exhaustion candles failed, pissing off the roof. As soon as that exponential moving average crossed over, we're pissing off the roof and down we're going. So if I zoom in now on this 4-hour view, really, what are we looking at? Okay, it's not giving me anything I can do. Like the RSI is not giving us the same pattern at all as the other coins. It's not giving us that nice divergence setup. Let me go to Poloniex. Oops, decreed. No buying volume going on in this. So I'm surprised. I thought it would be showing more than this, and it's just failing. Give me Poloniex. Get rid of my favorites. Go to decreed. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of Tron the other day when we, last week or what have you. It made such a whipsaw there that it's like, okay, hands back. I can't do anything with this market at all. I have to wait for it to mature into something and give me those divergences out of this bottom. It seems like it's going to be suffering more. And you know, it's at 250,000 Satoshi. That's a pretty costly coin, actually. So why is it that costly? Why is that expensive? It's got a long ways down it can go from here. So I'm not liking that chart of all of them, really. Like you just see you cover Miota. Let's find Miota. I find new coins this way with you guys helping me out, and I like it. Let's go longer term. Let's see what I can learn about this. So it was an ICO that was listed and dumped as soon as it was put onto this exchange, it seems. So I have to get rid of that data. And then we have Fat Finger Joe here and big pump and dump group action here. This is a popcorn move. And then it's pulling back. This is the 1-day view. Let's go into the 3-month view. It's not giving me anything I can do anything with. It could just blast off from here, but it hasn't given me a bottom formation retest. It's just laying sideways. And so it has to come to life for me. There are 2 strategies you could do here. You could put in $10 and then you'd put your sell orders out here like this. 20% of your coin, 20% of your coin, 20% of your coin, 20% of your coin. Right back up to these places where it's gone before. So you got 80% of your coin would sell out if it did a blast like that again. And if it did the pullback like this and you know the project and you like it, you would have all this extra profit now to buy more coin. You could be bigger on that, especially if it does a pop up and stays higher. Now you'd want to buy more coins because it's showing you that uptrend and that there is a big, at least an institutional buyer who wants to have this coin. But for now, so that's one strategy, is put a little bit in and put your pre-layered stops out there. It's called the popcorn strategy. And the other one, for me, I can't do anything. It's got to come up and pull back and consolidate, and then I might be able to do something, because then it's showing me that the trend has changed and it's going a direction. Right now, nothing I can do here. So I don't know that coin at all. And I don't go to that exchange at all, so that's new to me. XLM, we took a look at it. Bitcoin is going up and Litecoin is going up. Let's go look at Bitcoin. If we go into the 1-minute view, it's consolidating. It's consolidating. Some of the indicators are saying that it should be going up, but most of them are giving me weak signals when I did the 24 hours of Bitcoin video stream this morning. Okay. We got you, Ann. Yes. Sorry about that. I apologize. So that pretty much wraps it up. That gives us the big 6 that trade on BitMEX. BitMEX? Why does this always do this to me? I don't get it. I have to refresh this, and then it comes up with BitMEX for me. So we have the 6 on BitMEX, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want to go long and short them as we're going right now. Presently, I'm long Litecoin, but I'm still long on Poloniex. So I need to shut my Poloniex trading down, move that stuff over to BitMEX, and start to play with these long and short as we're going. There's still not very many trades for me. Ripple is showing some strength. So there are. This is breaking out. Ripple's on the way, and that's a 1, 2, 3 formation that's undeniable. Fibonacci's you can move anywhere. Trend lines, you can cut them anywhere. You know, so many of these indicators are subjective that you can move them all over. Even these exponential moving averages that I use the 20 period and the 60 period, but that's subjective. I did it just by trying out a whole bunch of different combinations of the exponential moving average and then doing back testing on it to see if I would have traded by this one or that one, how would it have turned out? And for me, the very best results are on longer term charts. The very best results are from the trend following of the 12-hour time frame with a little bit of the 4-hour time frame in there for position sizing. That seems to be worked the best for me. All right, so I guess I'll wrap it up here. And we will do the stream again tomorrow, and we'll go through all of the same 6 coins on BitMEX to see what they're doing, to see how they're playing out, and to record every day what the indicators are doing. This is a longer stream, but this way we can go back to a specific point and say, I want to see what the RSI was saying on Tron coin on this specific day. Let me go back and just go right to this coin and say, okay, now that's why it did that, what it did. You know, and many of these things we don't know for weeks or months after the fact that was the most important day that we. So every day to do this is necessary. Success in trading is not based on the intensity of your work, but the consistency of it. The same thing every day, a little bit every day, and it really adds up. It's like going to the gym for a workout. You come home from the gym after the workout, you look in the mirror, and you go, not much difference. You go twice a week for 2 months, and you start to see a little bit of change. But if you start to do this regularly, every single day for 2 months, and you did a short half-hour workout, after the end of 2 months, you'd see way more results than doing twice a week for a longer workout. It's not the intensity, but the regular bit of it that really adds up. And adds up. And this is the same with doing these videos. We get more and more people every day as we stay steady regularly going through the charts, and I'm here for you so that you can ask me about Link. Link took off out of a trading signal. I can't trade. It's the break of this trend line. Actually, there's kind of a signal there I could trade, but not really. It needed to make a 1, 2, 3, and it just blasted off and blasted off again. So actually, this is looking like the flaming candle pattern. The flaming candle pattern, if you thought of this as the candle that's on fire in the wind, the flame is being blown over sideways, and it's sort of an ascending wedge triangle. But on this, I can't draw that very well, but sort of like a flame shape going sideways. And out of the tip of that flame, we get some moves. It's a consolidation pattern that is important. And it's not one that I normally, or do I trade. Fortunately, I'm still a bag holder of some Link from an entry back in December. Out of here. So part of my trade I'm still holding, and I sold out just on the top right there for part of my trade. So I did well on that, and I'd be looking to get back in above this. I'd have to wait that long for this to consolidate now after it's done this move. It needs to give me a pullback here. Then I can start to set up a position. So for me, this move is nice, and then down, this nice move, and then down, and then this nice, you know, I can't trade it until it gives me that formation. As nice as it looks, I'm just grateful that I have some from December it's good. So Link, not yet for me. It could be a buy signal. It could definitely be going straight up from here. We have some really good buying, but that's the time to have been purchasing. If I was watching this and I wasn't, to see it come up to this formation and then build and break gives you the knowledge to get into it. And I'll bet you now, what chart is this? 5-minute time frame, that's harder to trade. Going into the 1 hour time frame, the exponential moving average crossed over here, but it didn't give me that formation to sink my teeth into. But what I'm trying to see is, was there a divergence in this like we saw in the other coins that have been so obvious, in that we have a major downtrend and we have multiple bottoms and a slightly uptrend here. So that was speaking out to like all of these coins for that moment. And again, it's just before Bitcoin broke that these started to take off. Very interesting to see that before Bitcoin broke, and that they didn't go wild when Bitcoin did break. They just kept going up. Something's up. Something's changed in the altcoin market because of what we're seeing here. Now I want to go to the RSI for Binance. Link. 4-month view. So we are seeing a divergence in the RSI here as well. We've got lower lows and the RSI's higher lows on those time frames. That's really big on the 4-hour time frame to see this. Go into the 1-hour time frame, and instead of a divergence in the price, now we're looking for a break of the RSI trend. A break of the RSI trend didn't do much here. A break of the RSI trend. So every time the RSI makes a trend, this does bounce, bounce, bounce. Eventually, when the bouncing happens, it's going to be the real one. But for me, I'm sitting waiting for this to consolidate something here. Maybe here. Zoom in on this. Yeah, the RSI is not as overbought here as it is now. Other way around. It's not as overbought now as it was there. And it's pulled back from the overbought territory here, so this gives it more room to go up from here. So a break of the RSI above the 70 level as prices are going up, it would be a FOMO time with legitimate backup because of what's going on. I wouldn't do it myself. I would wait. The markets are always here. They're always moving. I jumped in on those too many times and felt the heat, so I'll wait on that one. So that wraps it up. That's a pretty good stream, an hour and a bit to go over these 6 coins plus whatever you're asking for. So I think this is a more thorough stream than the Bitcoin stream. I want to keep that one shorter and dig into this one longer. I do have to repair and improve the stream chat thing here. I don't know why. I got it better on the other one and this not here. That'll take some setup and I'll get this working better. So in the meantime, I will sign off for now. And I look forward to you guys coming and joining us on Discord if you haven't already. And just before I go, I do have a question for you guys. The same as a question as I had before for the other group. Do you use Discord more or do you use Telegram more? Which do you prefer, Discord or Telegram? You can answer that here in the chat or in the comments down below. I'm not sure if I asked that at the beginning. I should have. And that'll wrap it up for today. Now I'll finish with a big thank you to the people who make this stream possible. Awesome. Thank you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.